A 30,000 square foot mansion on 32 acres keeps cutting its price. Meanwhile, a Tenafly team quietly handled 7 of the 10 previous sales across 2 straight years. New Jersey's luxury market is moving fast, but not in a straight line. On one ridge in Bernardsville, a Gilded Age estate built in 1886 measures grandeur in square feet and history, not just in dollars. The 7-bedroom main house carries 8 full baths and 5 half baths, plus a carriage house, all anchored to a name that once belonged to a U.S. casino. Senator and a founder of a major insurer. In its heyday, the estate employed a staff of 50 to tend gardens and animals on the grounds. In 1940, the property changed hands for $200,000. In 2014, it returned to the market at $18 million. After a series of adjustments, it dropped again on October 22nd, from $13,750,000 to $9,999,000. The address sits 2 minutes from downtown, roughly 45 minutes from New York City, and just off Route 78 and 287. You can buy the main house on 22 acres or step up to the full 32 with the carriage house. Every interested buyer so far has considered it as a primary residence. That single listing tells a story. What once dazzled simply by size now must make the case for how it lives. Signals suggest taste has shifted. Local voices say the pandemic nudged buyers toward less space. Millennials, they add, don't want the huge homes. That change in scale shapes price, but so does strategy. Across the state, the people moving the market are an odd coalition. Data-obsessed teams in Tenafly, curated storytellers in Bernardsville, builders in Franklin Lakes who write algorithms to compress time, and agents on the shore who tell a client to offer less and still win. Start in the north. A luxury team based in Tenafly has surpassed $600 million in closed transactions. Across 2024 and 2025, they represented 7 of the 10 most expensive residential sales recorded on the New Jersey MLS. They recently sold a fellow broker's home for $250,000 above the prior list price. That is leverage built on deliberate marketing, architectural narratives carried across every channel and repeated until the right buyer looks up and sees themselves. It is also speed. Another veteran in Fort Lee points to more than 500 successful transactions and an above-list offer secured on a cliffside park condo in just 24 days. When execution is crisp, time compresses, and value holds. Shift to Franklin Lakes. A builder-developer duo there runs more than $100 million in projects through a proprietary software platform. Their system uses data to identify high-potential acquisitions and to estimate the probability a home will sell before they break ground. The payoff is calendar math, project timelines cut from a typical 12 months down to 7. In luxury construction, shaving 5 months is not a footnote. It is a financing line turning from red to black. Faster cycles mean less holding cost and a tighter hand on risk, especially when taste is shifting beneath you. In north-central New Jersey, a Bernardsville-focused strategist offers a different edge: curation. Don't chase luxury, package a lifestyle and deliver it to qualified buyers. That approach sold a modern home with commercial-grade systems in roughly 2 months after others had failed to move it. In a market that likes proof, 2 months is a statement. Along the shore, the reality is more nuanced. A Bayville-born agent on Long Beach Island stood with her buyer on a listing at $999,000. Another offer suddenly appeared. She told her client to hold back and write at $950,000. They won. That small moment says a lot. It says some pockets of New Jersey are not an automatic auction. It says local knowledge, street by street, block by block, still beats adrenaline. At the other end of the state, South Jersey's top independent brokerage has spent more than 20 years building a machine. More than $1 billion in closed sales. A 5-star award streak through 11 consecutive years. A spot on a national growth list in 2021. A leadership award across the Philadelphia market in 2025. The backbone is a promise. They will guarantee the sale or step in and buy the home themselves once price and timing are agreed. It is an offer built for a common hinge in a move. Sell this to buy that without getting trapped in between. Head east to Monmouth, Middlesex, and Ocean counties, and you find a veteran ranked in the top 1% nationwide at a major brokerage. He works through a network linked to more than 125 local professionals in Freehold. That is not just a directory, it is a system that answers at 8 a.m., at noon, and when a permit threatens to stall closing. In Sussex County, another pro works transactions from $70,000 to more than $1 million. Range is its own currency across a state that runs from Gold Coast towers to lake houses to heavily wooded acreage. Now zoom back to the ridge above Bernardsville. The mansion's square tower now holds a speakeasy and an office and, by one account, the best view in Somerset County. The woodwork and fireplaces are original. The staircase, moved and rebuilt, looks as if it belonged from the start. The pool house is California style, a pandemic-era addition with a full kitchen. The listing agent describes it as comfortable despite the scale. But that scale is a question. How would you use a full-size basketball court with a gym above? Not many people need that. The price steps answer the question a little at a time, narrowing the space between romance and reality. This is what happened. A state long defined by its variety. Urban density along the Hudson, classic suburbs along rail lines, and horse country west of Route 202 walked into a post-pandemic market with new preferences. On one side, digitally fluent teams packaged properties so precisely they changed outcomes. 7 of the top 10 sales over 2 years clustered under one banner, a Cliffside Park condo found an above-list buyer in 24 days. An agent's listings in the Garden State MLS averaged 23 days on market, 12 days faster than the regional average. On the other side, sellers of truly massive homes listened, adjusted, and adjusted again. From $18 million in 2014 to $13,750,000 to $9,999,000 in late October. Fewer people are buying square footage that feels like a job. The line heard on the ground is simple. People want less space since the pandemic, and millennials especially don't want huge homes. Why it happened is a knot of taste, time, and execution. Taste changed. A generation used to smaller footprints in New York City, Montclair and Milburn came west with their preferences intact. They like room, but not too much, and they prefer livability over spectacle. Time changed. Builders who can compress a cycle from 12 months to 7 months reprice risk and deliver at the moment when demand stands ready, not months after it cooled. Execution changed. Agents who use AI-driven insights, digital retargeting, premium film, editorial property narratives, and platforms that push visibility into the right feeds are not flirting with trend. They are setting the new baseline. The calculus is clearer. Serve clarity, and speed follows. Serve speed, and value holds. Who is affected? Sellers of large estates feel it first. The Bernardsville mansion, once stronghold under a prominent family, has fielded a few offers after those price cuts. The marketing now includes a path to subdividing the purchase main house on 22 acres first, carriage house, and an additional 10 acres later. That is an accommodation to today's buyer, not yesterday's. High-end sellers in Bergen and Hudson counties feel something different. With a Tenafly team consistently in the top 1% by volume and hiring multi-platform campaigns to spotlight lifestyle as much as layout, the right homes sell and sell well. The win at $250,000 above a prior list price shows that value is not only found in price cuts, it can be uncovered in exposure and framing. Buyers are affected in opposite ways depending on where they shop. On Long Beach Island, that $950,000 offer winning against competition shows a lane for disciplined bidders. In Cliffside Park, a fast above-list transaction at 24 days shows that speed and decisive terms still win when the property is dialed in. In Bernardsville and Harding Township, a curated approach moves properties that look complex on paper by translating technical features into a story a family can imagine living in. Sussex County buyers find guidance across a spread from $70,000 starter homes to 7-figure retreats, with a steady hand through short sales, foreclosures, and VA-specific hurdles. What's next depends on patience and technology. The Franklin Lakes Pipeline, north of $100 million, will test whether the 7-month timeline is a durable advantage or a sweet spot created by current conditions. If that cycle time holds through multiple projects, partners will see quicker turnovers and stronger profits on each pass. If it widens back toward 12 months, financing costs change, and with them, the appetite for riskier designs. In Tenafly, watch whether the share of ultra-high-end deals, 7 of 10 across 2024 and 2025, remains that concentrated in the next cycle or diffuses as more players adopt similar multi-platform tactics. Underneath those moves, the market runs on trust and on systems. In Monmouth County, a veteran seat in a 125-member referral network doesn't just close gaps, it prevents them. In South Jersey, a guarantee to buy a client's home when price and timing align smooths the fear that keeps families stuck between two houses. In the Garden State MLS, an agent holding a top 1% rank among more than 15,000 active peers shows what consistent execution looks like. Listings averaging 23 days, 12 days faster than peers, 135-star reviews, and a platinum-level performance streak across 2020, 2020, 2023, and 2024. Consider how the small moments add up. A medical management pro turned agent and now top producer with year-to-date sales nearing $8 million builds a team and a site to extend reach. A builder uses computer science to craft acquisition algorithms that hand over plain language forecasts any investor can weigh. A luxury strategist in Bernardsville packages homes not by square foot, but by how mornings sound in a particular kitchen and how light travels through glass at 4 p.m. A teacher-turned-agent organizes a food drive that collects more than 1,100 items, then returns to break down zoning and compliance rules for clients in a niche most still find confusing. These are not distractions from the market. They are the market. Because real estate is still, at base, an accumulation of individual decisions. The counterweights matter too. Even as a 30,000 square foot property seeks fewer zeros, a Tenafly team posts a tally of $600 million closed. Even as taste shifts to smaller homes, Franklin Lakes compresses build times from 12 months to 7, a structural change that can deliver new, right-sized product into that demand faster. Even as a Bernardsville mansion records a price at $9,999,000 in late October, a condo across the river line goes above list in 24 days. This is not a one-direction market. It is a segmented one. Let's draw the causal chain clearly. What happened? The top of New Jersey's market bifurcated. Trophy-scale properties above a certain size faced a narrower buyer pool and adjusted pricing from $18 million to $13 million, $750,000 to $9,999,000. At the same time, elite teams captured outsized shares of ultra-high-end transactions, including 7 of the 10 most expensive sales across 2024 and 2025. And developers brought data into the build process to shorten delivery from 12 months to 7. Why it happened? Tastes tilted toward livability and scale-controlled layouts. Buyers arriving from New York City, Montclair, and Milburn kept their appetite for proximity, but not for excess. Technology increased marketing precision and construction efficiency, and agents doubled down on systems that keep transactions moving. Who is affected? Sellers holding very large estates adjust, buyers in Bergen, Hudson, and along the shore navigate pockets of speed and pressure with local advantage, builders and investors recalibrate timelines and returns. What's next? Price discovery continues at the trophy end, tech-enabled teams and builders widen their edge. Curated marketing grows more valuable in towns like Bernardsville, Harding Township, and PANICS Gladstone, and disciplined buyers find openings when competition flashes. One vignette captures the psychology. On Long Beach Island, a listing at $990 attracted multiple offers. The buyer was ready to match the number. The agent advised $950,000, grounded in local comps and feel for the room. They won. That is the difference between paying the market and reading it. It is also a reminder that in a state where a Fort Lee veteran can close above list in 24 days, there are still places where patience gets rewarded with a 5-figure discount. So where does that leave Bernardsville's giant? In a better conversation than before. The staircase has been moved to where it should have been all along and rebuilt to look original. The tower has a speakeasy. The pool house adds a kitchen. Every bedroom is en suite. The woodwork sings from another century, and the property now offers paths, a 22-acre purchase first, a 10-acre carriage house later. The price at $9,999,000 is not an apology. It is a handshake. The route to New York City takes about 45 minutes. Downtown is 2 minutes away. For the right family, that may be the math that matters. Elsewhere, across Freehold and the shore towns, the math speaks in days and doors. Listings averaging 23 days on market, 12 days faster than their region, signal a frictionless process. An above-list result at 24 days confirms buyer urgency when the narrative fits. A network of 125 professionals makes sure the plumber answers before the drywall dries. A guarantee to buy a client's home at a price and on a clock they choose keeps a move from stalling. In Sussex County, the willingness to work from $70,000 to $1 million proves that breadth is an advantage when interest shifts block to block. The real economy of real estate time, trust, and tactics lies in those numbers. $600 million closed is not just prestige. It is an archive of how to price, when to launch, and where to aim. 7 out of the 10 most expensive deals across 2 years is not coincidence. It is the compounding of choices. A 12-month build trimmed to 7 months is not a gimmick. It is an operational pivot that changes the deal math for every partner in the room. A price path from $18 million to $13 million, $750,000 to $9,999,000 is not failure. It is an alignment of expectation with demand in a state that still values proximity and grace, but now asks for manageability. Watch how these threads cross. When a builder's algorithm predicts sale probability and a curator packages lifestyle, the next wave of listings in Bernardsville, Harding Township, and Peapack Gladstone may present as smaller, smarter, and quicker to market. When a Tenafly team's analytic framework pushes a listing across channels, towns like Alpine, Englewood Cliffs, and Crestkill can see faster movement at the high end. When a Fort Lee veteran pairs AI-driven insights with virtual staging along New Jersey's Gold Coast, a seller in Hoboken or Weehawken can measure the trade-off between waiting for a higher number and accepting a strong, clean offer at day 22nd. Scale the lens down to one buyer and the picture is human again. A first-time homeowner, keyed up by a 7-figure ask, listens to a calm voice explain why $950,000 might be enough and wins. A family in Bergen County sells a home held for 40 years with help that feels more like life transition than transaction and boxes memories without losing equity. A young investor works through a short sale in Sussex County at $70,000 and takes hold of a first door. A developer in Franklin Lakes locks a schedule at 7 months and watches soft costs shrink while margins widen. Scale the lens up and the state's pulse is not hard to read. North Jersey's luxury corridor runs on careful orchestration and visibility. Central Jersey's historic towns reward storytelling. The shore rewards patience and discipline. South Jersey leans on guarantees and systems built over more than a decade as an independent brokerage. Across all of it, execution beats excuse, and the numbers in each pocket: $250,000 above a prior list, 24 days to close above list, 23 days average listing speed, a 12 to 7 month build compression, a $9,999,000 ask after an October adjustment, draw the contour of a market sliding toward right-sized customers. The base case heading into the next stretch is straightforward. Expect continued price alignment at the very top as sellers of extremely large estates meeting narrower buyer pools adjust to where demand lives. Expect tech-enabled teams and builders to keep an edge. Multi-platform campaigns in Bergen and Hudson counties will continue to translate architecture into lifestyle for qualified buyers, and 7-month build cycles in Franklin Lakes will hold attention as long as the project pipeline remains above $100 million. Expect curated strategies in Bernardsville, Harding Township, and Peapack Gladstone to move complex properties within months, not years, and expect disciplined buyers along Long Beach Island to find windows where offers under ask still win. 2 watch items deserve focus and the clock. First, track the Bernardsville estate's trajectory through the next 6 to 9 months. Does $9,999,000 draw the buyer who wants 22 or 32 acres within 45 minutes of the city, or does the property test a lower number to match a preference for less space? Second, watch whether the Franklin Lakes model sustains 7-month delivery across multiple projects through the next 12 months. Holding that timeline would confirm a structural efficiency, while slippage back toward 12 months would tighten profits and test appetite. Under any scenario, the bias in New Jersey is toward clarity. The market rewards those who anchor decisions in precise numbers: days on market, percentage above or below list, months saved on a schedule, dollars trimmed to meet a buyer where they are. The market also rewards those who see beyond the numbers, because a 30,000 square foot home can feel warm if the woodwork sings, and a 2-minute drive to town can feel like a freedom you forgot you missed. If this helped you read the market with clearer eyes, share it with someone getting ready to make their next move.